All right. So this is the last class of the week. Okay, there are 3 more sessions. Today, the lesson is going to be divided into 2 parts. Well, 3. We are going to practice a little bit at the beginning, the last 2 exercises from Monday, and then on the second part, I'm going to explain some things related to functions regarding intonation. And on the last part, I'm going to, well, you are going to develop one of the 2 assessments that I have to give you. One is related to identification. You're going to listen and complete 3 different tasks. And then I'm going to provide all the instructions for the production assessment, the one that you're going to have some days to practice and to upload the video. All right? Good. So before we begin, I would like to ask you to open the file, the one that I uploaded last week to Virtual UNACH, and we're going to begin there. All right, so last class we talked about, well, we continued talking about the identification of the prehead, the stress, also the prehead, the tail, the tonic syllable, how to identify that one. And we completed exercise or activity 1. Well, the idea of that activity was to illustrate the intonation of certain utterances. And now we are going to focus on the listening exercises. So for that specific item, there are 2 different activities. In activity 1, the title of that activity is identifying the tonic syllable. For that, you had to listen, right, the audio, and repeat. And the idea is that you have to take care to continue the pitch movement of the tone over the tail. And in the activity 2, you had to, the name of that activity is high and low head. So for that, you had to repeat some tone units with high and low heads. And there were 4 of them. So I'm going to play the audio. We are going to listen to them, but we're going to begin with activity 1. Then once we listened to the audio, I'm going to ask you to repeat, all right, the different utterances there in order to identify if the production that you provide is accurate or not based on the different symbols and also the transcription there that indicates the tonic syllable, the tone as well, and the stress. In activity 1, you focus on the tail. And in activity 2, you're going to focus on the head. All right, so I'm going to look for the audio so I can play it for you. Hi, Ignacio.
Hi, teacher.
How are you? I think it's 17.
English.
Yes, it's this one. Okay, so we are going to listen exercise 1. So pay attention to the intonation of those utterances. And then I'm going to ask you to repeat what you listen.
Audio Unit 17. Intonation.
Exercise 1. Repetition of tonic syllable plus tail. Listen and repeat, taking care to continue the pitch movement of the tone over the tail.
Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it.
All right, Sylvia, you're going to be the lucky one. You're going to begin, okay? Remember to repeat those different utterances. Pay attention to the pitch movement, okay, of the tone over the tail.
Okay, so I have to say the four of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it.
Okay, good. Danny, you now.
Bill bought it. Bill bought. Bill bought. Bill bought it.
Okay, can you repeat the last two, because the two ones, because I had like some problem with my laptop, so I didn't listen to the last two utterances, please.
Okay. Bill bought it. Bill bought it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Lore.
Okay. Bill bought it. Bill bought it. I don't know, the number 3, it's rise low, right?
A full rise.
Oh, full rise. Oh yeah, that's right. Can you say it first again? Sorry.
Yeah, like Bill bought it.
Okay, Bill bought it. Bought it.
Bill
And
bought it.
Bill bought it. Bought it. Gosh,
Bought it.
bought it.
Yeah,
Bought it.
bought it. Or bought it. If you want to sound American, it would be bought it. Bought it.
Bought it. Yeah. Bill bought it. Bill bought it.
Nacho, what about you?
Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it.
I think that all of them sound the same. Can you repeat again?
Yes, of course. Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it. Bill bought it.
Okay, we are going to listen one more time. Pay attention.
Last tail. Listen and repeat, taking care to continue the pitch movement of the tone over the tail.
Bill bought it.
Danny, can you say that one, please? Yeah, just the first one. Yes.
Bill bought it.
Okay. Now, Sylvia, you're going to do the second one. Listen.
Bill bought it.
Bill bought it.
Very good. Lore, you're going to do the third one.
Bill bought it.
Bill bought it.
Bill bought it.
Bill bought it.
Yes, that's better. Ignacio, please, the last one.
Bill bought
The
it.
first one.
The last one. I'm going to play it again.
Bought.
Listen again.
4 of them came.
Oh, sorry. I have to go back.
Bill bought it.
Bill bought it.
Okay, that's better. Okay, now let's go with the second group of utterances.
4 of them came.
Okay, Sylvia.
4 of them came.
Okay. Annie, now it's your turn. Listen.
4 of them came.
4 of them came.
Very good. Lode, now it's your time. Listen.
4 of them came.
4 of them came.
Yes, 4 of them came. And Ignacio, the last one. Listen and repeat.
4 of them came.
4 of them came.
Yes, 4 of them came. Good. Now let's go with the third group. Listen. Sylvia, you begin.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Okay. Miss Rodriguez.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Very good. Lore.
Why do you do it?
Why did you do it?
Yes. Ignacio.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Very good. Okay, Miss Reyes, you're right, Nate. So you're going to do a whole package of utterances. So listen.
4 of them came.
Give me a
Why
mark.
do you do it?
Okay. Okay. Study, listen, and repeat.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Very good. Let's go with the second.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Very good. The third one.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Very good. And the last one.
Why do you do it?
Why do you do it?
Yes, very good. Okay. Now we are going to focus on the head. High and low head. We're going to do the same. We are going to listen, and then you have to repeat. But now, all of you must repeat the utterances that we are going to listen to. All right? So, pay attention.
Exercise 2. Production.
It's not exercise 2.
The following tone units will be repeated with high.
Okay.
Exercise 3. High and low head. The following tone units will be repeated with high and low heads. Listen and repeat.
Taxes have risen by 5%. Taxes have risen by 5%.
All right. Sylvia, you begin.
Okay. Taxes have risen by 5%.
Reason
Palabra reason?
or reason?
Reason?
Yeah.
Reason?
Yeah, reason.
Entiendo, yeah. Okay, but at the beginning yo le decía así. Taxes have risen by 5%. Y la otra, taxes have risen by 5%.
Can you repeat the second one?
Taxes have risen by 5%.
Okay, good. Miss Rodriguez.
Taxes have risen by 5%.
Okay.
Taxes. What?
Okay, and the second one?
Okay. Taxes have no, sorry again. Taxes have raised by 5%.
Okay, good. Miss Reyes.
Taxes have risen by 5%.
Yes. And the second one?
Sorry. Taxes have risen by 5%.
Okay. Lore?
Okay. Taxes have risen by 5%. Taxes have risen by 5%.
Okay. Ignacio?
Taxes have risen by 5%.
And the second one?
Taxes have risen by 5%.
Okay, we are going to listen to this again, okay, because it's a little bit confusing. Listen.
Listen and repeat.
Taxes have risen by 5%.
Taxes have risen by 5%. Taxes have risen by 5%. So you keep like in terms of level, it's going to be on the top. Okay. Taxes have risen by 5%, and you finish at the end. Now, if we listen to the second one, remember the symbol is different.
Taxes have risen by 5%.
Taxes have risen by 5%. So if you realize the second one is like flat, if we compare that, we contrast that one with the first one. Now, let's go with the second contrast.
Haven't you asked the boss for more?
Sylvia, can you repeat that one, please?
Haven't you asked haven't you asked the boss for more?
Very good. Now, let's listen to the second one.
Haven't you asked the boss for more?
Okay, Miss Rodriguez, do that one.
Haven't you asked the boss for more?
Haven't you asked the boss, the linking, the boss? Again.
Haven't you asked the boss for more?
Ask the boss, ask the boss.
Haven't you asked the boss for more?
Yeah, that's better. Very good. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now let's go with the third contrast.
We don't have time to read the paper.
Okay, Miss Reyes.
We don't have time to read the paper.
Very good. So with the second one.
We don't have time to read the paper.
Ignacio.
We don't have time to read the paper.
Very good. Okay, let's go into the third contrast.
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
Lore.
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
Very good.
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
Sylvia.
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
Very good. All right. Now, Miss Rodriguez, I want you to do the first contrast, but now we are not going to listen. Okay? Go ahead.
Taxes have, no, sorry, again.
Don't worry.
Taxes have risen by 5%. Taxes have risen 5%.
Very good. Miss Reyes, the second group of utterances, please.
Okay. haven't you asked the boss for more? The first one, and the second one, haven't you asked the boss for more?
Very good. Nacho, the third one.
The third one, teacher?
Yeah, the third group, please.
We don't have time to read the paper.
And the contrast.
We don't have time to read the paper.
Okay, I identify that you pronounce both the same. We don't have time to read the paper. And the second one would be, we don't have time to read the paper. Okay, one is like high and it was slow. Try again, Nacho.
We don't have time to read the paper. We don't have time to read the paper.
Remember, one is high, the other low. Let's go with the first one, this one. We don't have time to read the paper. And the other one will be, we don't have time to read the paper.
Okay. We don't have time to read the paper. We don't have time to read the paper.
Okay, that's better. Okay, Lore. The last one.
Okay. Wouldn't you like to read it on the train? Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
No, you changed the tone at the end. It's always rise. But
Yeah, sorry. Okay, okay. Wouldn't you like to read it on the train? Then, wouldn't you like to read it on the train? Like low or high?
Okay, let's go with the first one.
Train?
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train? And the second one,
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
yeah, that's better. And the second one will be, wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
Wouldn't you like to read it on the train?
The train.
Train.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you
remember,
like to read it on the train?
yeah, that's better. Remember, that's a rise tone, rising tone. Sylvia, please repeat the first contrast.
Why that one? And okay. Taxes have risen by 5%. Taxes have risen by percent.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, remember that when we talk about high and low head, okay, it means that we keep like a high one until we go into the tone that's full, and the other way around is when we finish like something that is a rise tone, rising tone, sorry. For example, taxes have risen by 5%. Taxes have risen by 5%. Haven't you asked the boss for more? Haven't you asked the boss for more? We don't have time to read the paper. We don't have time to read the paper. Wouldn't you like to read it on the train? Wouldn't you like to read it on the train? So you provide another intonation to that. Today was a student next to me at the university, and she asked me, why are you teaching that? And I explained that, and she told me it makes sense when you speak, and also helps you with the accent as well. All right, you have the audio, so the idea is that you keep on practicing. All right, remember that with intonation is everything that you acquire or you learn is going to be based on how much you practice. Okay, so you can listen and then repeat again and again, and you can recall yourself as well to identify the differences in the different audios that you record and how the speech comes out from your mouth. All right, now we are going to jump into today's lesson. that, well, we continue working on intonation, but today we are going to focus on the functions of intonation. So in this lesson, you're going to identify the functions of intonation, and you're going to role play dialogues. Why? In one section of the lesson, I'm going to provide some explanation about that, some explanation about the functions. And on the other hand, you will have to work as groups to design and create your own dialogues, and you have to add the the tone to the things that you want to express. Okay, so first of all, to describe a little bit about the functions of intonation. Remember, and I'm going to explain this again, and I'm going to reinforce this on you. Intonation makes it easier for a listener to understand what a speaker is trying to convey. Why? Because sometimes sometimes happens that, for example, when you have a conversation with a person and you ask them a question and the response comes, with a weird intonation, you tend to ask like, how are you? Did something happen? Do you have a problem? Are you really interested in this? So first of all, you need to understand that that's the goal of intonation, to help you out to set the context. And it's not just the words that come out of your mouth, it's also what you really want to express. And for that, there are some of the different functions proposed. The first one is that intonation enables you, or enables people to express, first of all, emotions. If you are surprised, if you are worried, okay, if you are, I don't know, if you have questions about something, or you have some doubts about something, and also attitudes as you speak. So when you speak, it adds kind of meaning. That's why when you speak to a native speaker, you will see that they tend to express a lot when they speak. That's why I taught you, for example, that English language has a rhythm when they speak, because, for example, when they're very happy, or when they're sad, or they're worried about something, they tend to add that specific ingredient when they speak. For example, Chinese, the intonation is like something very, very important when they speak. Because, for example, if I say more could be, I'm just inventing because I don't speak Chinese, but for example, if I say more, it could be I don't know, more, it could be perro, okay, and more could be caballo. So if I say like, oh, I love the more, it would be like, oh, you like puppies? No, I like the horses. Like, oh, so that means I will be more. So those languages are quite complicated because you need to add that correct or accurate tone based on what you want to express. And sometimes the tone changes, the meaning of the words when you want to produce or you want to express something. So when we want to provide that meaning to the spoken language, or when you want to provide that emotion or attitude to the things that you want to say, that's something that we call attitudinal function of intonation. Okay, that's the name. That name is just something that's technique for you, okay? That's not necessary to, memorize, but that's something that you need to understand, that that's one of the function of the intonation. Another one is that intonation helps to produce the effect of prominence. For example, you are teachers. You have taught to different children or to different people. And you know that, for example, prominence is a technique to provide feedback or to ask students to realize about a mistake. For example, when they say, oh, she go to school, she go to school, or she goes to school, you know? So you use that tone to produce that effect of prominence on certain syllables. So that need to be perceived as stressed. And in particular, the placing of tonic stress on a particular syllable marks out the word to which it belongs as the most important in the tone unit. So that as a strategy, you teachers as a strategy, you use the tone unit, okay, to provide feedback or to use that as a strategy for your learners to realize about words they need to produce or they need to memorize or they need to identify when they speak. That is a very good strategy for corrective feedback. Okay, that's something that applied linguistics studies. In the case, intonation works to focus attention on a particular lexical item or syllable. Well, we have been studying a lot, and you can see that sometimes there are certain words that should not be stressed. For example, we talked about some grammatical categories. And you realized, for example, when we used to have nouns in some sentences, we would stress the nouns and, for example, know the personal pronouns, for example, because perhaps the noun is more important thing I want to say. And for that is what we call the accentual function. So when you want to produce the effect of prominence on certain in your speech for specific words is what we call the accentual function. Another different function that's proposed for intonation is that the listener, it means you, or when you speak, you are going to be the speaker, but also a listener. Based on pragmatics, pragmatic explains that you need to have a speaker and a listener, you know, to create this interaction or to hold a conversation. So the listener is better able to recognize the grammar and syntax structure of what's being said. Yeah, of course. If I say, oh, I've been traveling around Europe for 3 months, with that specific grammatical, with that structure, that's present perfect, you would say, oh, that means that is experience, he's been doing this, that means that he hasn't finished, he began 3 months ago, and he's still, you know, he's still doing the same thing. So by using the information contained in the intonation, for example, such things as the placement of boundaries between phrases, clauses, or sentences. Phrases, smaller, clauses, a little bit bigger, and sentences. A sentence is the mixture of clauses. Remember, there are independent clauses, okay, or dependent clauses. The dependent clauses are the ones that are separated and they have meaning. We don't need more information, but the dependent ones is that we are adding or including more information to the first clause. So, and the difference between question and statements, okay? For example, we know that we have auxiliary verbs to ask questions in English. For example, are you Jose? So that intonation will be a question. But what happens if I say, you are Jose? Yes, I am. But it's different if I don't use that auxiliary verb and I just say, you are Jose? Yes, I am. So you are that, you know, intonation, that tone to that word to ask a question. And also, and the use of grammatical subordination might be indicated. And for that we called the grammatical function of intonation. So the grammatical function is, for example, for questions. For yes and no questions, we tend to use a rising tone. And for the WH questions, such as what time is it? Have you got the time? Where are you? Where are you from? How are you? Most of them are going to have a falling tone, right? So that's why we call that the other function would be the grammatical function. Also, looking at the act of speaking in a broader way, you can see that intonation can signal to the listener what is to be taken as new information, okay, and what is already given. Can suggest when the speaker is indicating some sort of contrast or link with material in another tone unit. And in conversation, can convey to the listener what kind of response is expected. If I'm surprised, if I'm bored, if I'm excited about something, if I'm very happy, you know. And that function is what we call the discourse function. Now, we are going to see how these different functions work, right? We are going to begin with the first one, for. We use for finality, right? For example, that is the end of the news. I'm absolutely certain. Stop talking, right? So it's like, stop, like, finish with that, okay? That is the end of news. I'm absolutely certain. Stop talking. It's very important that you take notes about the use of that specific tone, that's for, because for the activity of today, you have to create a dialogue and you need to provide, okay, that attitudinal function to your speech. For rise, most of the functions attributed to rises are nearer to grammatical than attitudinal, as in the first three examples given below. They are included here mainly to give a fuller picture of intonational function. For example, for general question, can you help me? Yes or no, right? Can you help me? Yes. Is it over? No. For example, listing. Red, brown, yellow, or blue. Okay, so it's very common to use falling tone at the end of the list. More to follow. For example, I phoned them right away, so I'm expecting an answer from you. Like, I phoned them right away. Okay, don't worry, I understand. So you request, you know, that the other person or the listener is going to answer, okay? Or you must write it again. Yes, okay, I'm going to do it, okay? I get it, thank you. Or encouraging. It won't hurt. For example, oh my God, I want to get a new tattoo, but I think it's painful. No, it won't hurt. It won't hurt. So that's that to encourage the person, like, do it, you can do it, all right? Now, what about for rise? For example, for uncertainty or doubt or requesting. You might be right. You might be right. It's possible. It's possible. Or for requesting. Can I buy it? Can I buy it? Or will you lend it to me? Will you lend it to me? Will you lend it to me? If you realize, for example, in the fourth example, in the one that's for requesting, the tonic syllable would be lend, because we focus on the action, like, will you lend it to me? Will you lend it to me? Will you lend it to me? So that's the starting point for, you know, the raising tone. And what about rise form, like surprise or being impressed? You were first, like you were first, you were first, all of them, 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 all of them. Okay. I told you that my intro about the functions of intonation was going to be quite short, because now you have to work and you have to demonstrate that you can include intonation in your speech. So I'm going to divide the class. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students. So there will be a couple and a group of 3, right? You're going to have 15 minutes from 8 to 8:15 to create a dialogue, including those 4 tones. And of course, the different questions or statements that you are going to use should be accurate with the tone. If you're going to be surprised, if you're going to request something, if you're going to ask a question, okay, I need to identify the correct tone, right? You are not going to have a limit of questions or responses. The thing is that you must use all the different tones, okay, and the different intonation for their specific, okay, contexts. Are the instructions clear for the activity? Yeah.
No, teacher. There is a request intonation, question, surprise intonation, and with what else?
Finality, definitiveness, for general question, listing, more to follow, encouraging, uncertainty, doubt, requesting, surprise, and being impressed. So you will have to create a dialogue, all right? And you must include the attitudinal function that I already explained, and you're going to have enough time to practice. And then after the break, you will have to present this, because the idea is that I can identify, all right, if you can actually include the function in your speech. Okay, is that clear now, Ignacio?
In 15 minutes, a dialogue with all those.
Well, I'm going to give you 15 minutes, but you know what, that at 8:15 there's a break, so I will give you until 8:15, but then at 8:30 we'll meet again, and you are going to present, all right, the dialogue that you designed. And then we are going to check, we are going to provide feedback, and we are going to identify if you can actually, you know, provide and add this attitudinal function to your speech. All right.
Okay, teacher.
I want to divide into group breakout rooms. So remember, there will be a group of 3 and a couple. Okay. I'm not going to assign any group, so this Zoom is going to do everything, okay? So it's not up to me. Okay, so, oh, I have to eliminate myself because I have my iPad as well. Okay, so there are 1, 2, and 3. Oh, no, it's okay. Yes. Danny, well, both Danny's and Lore, I'm going to be in your group, but that's my iPad. I'm not going to listen to you, okay? That's just my iPad, so don't worry about it. All right. If you have any questions, remember you can send a general message and I'm going to receive the message so I can access to the section and I can help you out with some doubts or questions that you may have. Okay, good. Remember, 15 minutes. It's up to you. If you want to take more time, it's up to you. Okay, go ahead. All right, so time to check what you did. To wait for the rest of the classmates.
Okay.
Right, hi everyone. Okay, so we're going to check the dialogues that you created. So I think the couple is going to begin, Sylvia and Ignacio. First of all, was it difficult or not?
No, I think so. Que estamos bien. Nah.
It was difficult to me connect and get the idea, but finally, I suppose that
Okay, that's what we are going to check now. So we're going to do this. You're going to role play the dialogue. Then once you're finished, you're going to explain the attitudinal function of intonation that you included in the different utterances that you created, and then explain why you used them. All right?
all right, teacher.
Okay, now the class is yours.
Don't worry, it's very short.
Yes. Okay. We are in a class. It's a dialogue between a student and a teacher.
Yeah.
We are going to start in 3, 2, 1. What is going to be the today's class about?
And the teacher now responds. Today's class is going to be about intonation.
Suddenly, a student asks, "May I go to the bathroom?"
To the bathroom again. And that's it.
And well, okay.
We put like
The
the boring.
first intervention is rising
Yeah.
tone that we use with questions. So, what is going to be the today's class about? It's going rising the intonation, teacher.
Because it's a general question that the student is making.
Then the teacher responds with intonation down.
Yeah, full
And
intonation.
yes, and with a very teachy voice, he responds, or she responds, today's class is going to be about intonation. So intonation down. Today's class is going to be about intonation.
Yeah, because the
And
teacher is saying something that is like definite. He's for sure that he's going to talk about intonation in his class.
but then when the student asks to go to the bathroom, it's a full rise. Like, may I go to the bathroom, please?
Because he's making a request.
Mhm.
That's why we chose that.
And finally, rise fall with the final intervention of the teacher that is Sylvia saying,
To the bathroom
go
again. Yeah.
like to the bathroom again.
Okay, I would like you
Yep.
to repeat the first question.
Yes, of course, teacher. It's what is going to be the today's class about?
Okay, but remember something. That type of question is requesting more than yes or no. So I told you you have yes or no questions such as are you happy? Are you okay? For those type of questions that I need a yes or no response, I use the rising tone. However, for your type question, you would end with a falling tone. Like, what do you think this class is going to be about? What do you think this class is going to be about? Oh, it's going to be about intonation. So I think you have to change a little bit the tone there and include the tone in what. Okay, and remember the stress for the tail of the rest of the question. What do you think is going to be the class about? The class about. So we have what, and then we have about. Okay, so remember this again, when you have WH question that requests a longer response, the intonation for that question would be at the end, I mean, it's going to be a falling tone, okay? But when you are going to ask a question that you require just yes or no, in that specific situation, you will use a raising tone. However, for the rest of the utterances that you used, they were very good, okay? So the only problem that little problem was with the first one that you used, okay? So again, yes or no, raising tone. But when you require a longer response, you should include another type of tone there, okay? It's more related to the tonic syllable that you choose for that specific question. So it would be, what do you think is going to be this class about? About, so you finished with a falling tone. Okay, thank you very much. Now, the group.
Ok, bueno, pues ya que vamos a empezar. El contexto, estamos en un supermercado, Dani Rodríguez y yo, platicando sobre cualquier cosa.
Introduction.
Okay, so
Now, can we start?
3, 2, 1.
Yes, 1, 2, 3,
Action.
action.
Yeah.
Hi, what a surprise. How are you? What about your lives?
Yeah, not too bad.
I'm pretty good. Are you the kids from high school?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, I remember you. You used to sit next to me.
Yeah, are you right? Can we take a cup of tea together?
That's it. Fin.
That's it.
Okay, aquí viene la explicación de los tonos. The first one, el de hi, what a surprise, is obviously rise and fall.
Yes.
And then the well, not too bad is fall. And I'm pretty good. Are you Danny Reyes from high school? Is full rise because you start like I'm pretty good and then rise to the question. And Danny Reyes, yeah, it's me. It's a full rise. I mean, only rise.
Only right.
And then I remember you. You used to sit next to me. It's full. And Danny al final, yeah, we're in the same classroom. It's rise.
Okay, at the end, someone, I think Danny Rodriguez, you said, yes, you're right, something like that, right? Can you repeat that expression?
Yeah, you're right.
What do you mean by, yes, are you right? It's a question. Are you right or you are right?
Que in this case, Lore remember Danny, and I say, yeah, you're right.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so it's
Yes.
like
Como,
falling.
sí, tienes razón. What?
Is that a falling tone then?
Yes, and then can we take a cup of, sorry, can we take a cup of tea together?
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I just noticed a little problem with just yes, you're right. Like, yes, you're right. Like the falling tone, that's all. But the rest, very good. Okay, very good. Something that's not related to intonation. I prefer when people say, can we have something? I prefer to use shall we or may we, like may, okay? Shall we go for a cuppa? Shall we go for coffee? Because for me, can is more related to like the capacity you have for doing something.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like shall we go? Shall we go for coffee? Shall we go for a cuppa? For a cuppa? But the rest was.
Teacher Laila nos va a retar. Porque lo vimos.
Don't worry. I won't tell her, so don't worry. Okay, that's perfect. If you see, when you add intonation, when you speak, you feel and you own the language. So you should try to do that exercise. Try to do that in one level and then add intonation to your questions, okay, or the things that you want to say. Because in Spanish, we do the same. If we are happy, if we feel surprised, if we feel sad, okay, we change the tone of things we say. But in a foreign language, it's different, of course, because it's not our native or it's not our mother tongue language. So that's sometimes complicated. But as you see, if you add that, okay, you're going to get a better speech when you produce your L2. All right. Now, the time has come for you to, okay, develop the tests. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to provide the instructions for this. It would take a little bit to explain them and also things that you have to do. First of all, I want you to share your emails in the chat box because I need to send you, okay, an invitation for a file that I'm going to share with all of you. Please try to use a Gmail, okay, account. Oh no, I think it's better if I share the link. There you go. Just open the link. That's better. All right. Before we begin with this evaluation, I want you to create a copy of this test so you can own your own test. While you're ready with that, share it with me. And please allow me to edit, okay, the test. I'm going to send my email so you can share it with me. There you go. Okay, so this is test 1, rhythm and intonation. That's unit 1 of this course. This evaluation has got 60 points. The learned outcomes, you're going to recognize the different intonation patterns related to the tone, the tonic syllable, and the stress. General instructions. Well, make a copy of this file, share this document with me, and allow me to edit so I can add some comments and also the score and also the mark at the same time. Okay, this test has got 3 different tasks. In task 1, you will hear each syllable twice, and you have to write the correct tone next to the number. Just write it. If it is fall, fall rise, rise, and rise fall. Each, okay, syllable, if you get them right, you will get 2 points. That has 20 points, okay, that item or that task. In task 2, you will hear the next statements. There are 10 different statements. You have to underline the correct tonic syllable for each sentence. 2 points for each statement. Okay, just underline the one that you feel that is prominent. Okay. And finally, in task 3, you will hear some statements and you have to underline the tonic syllable and its tone. So write if it is rise or fall, that's all. No rise, fall, or fall, rise, just rise and fall. So this is divided into 2, from 1 to 5 in the tonic syllable and from 1 to 5 in the tone. So you're going to listen, for example, to the first statement. What time will they come? And the idea is that you underline, okay, the tonic syllable on that statement. And then if you perceive that, for example, the tone of that syllable is a rising tone, you write rise. If you believe that is fall, you write fall there. Okay? And for task 1, you're going to listen twice. However, for the rest of the tasks, you're just going to listen 1 time. I'm going to be in charge of the production of these different statements and also tonic syllables and tones. So for that, I'm going to stop the recording, okay? And also I'm going to I'm going to turn off my camera because I tend to use my finger to help me out with that as well, and also to make an accurate intonation for you. All right. I'm going to begin with task 1. All right, so task 1. You will hear each syllable twice. Write the correct tone next to the number. Fall, rise, fall, rise, and rise, fall. 1. No. No. Two. Yes. Yes.